என்னடா யோசிக்கிற? There is nothing to think so much மச்சான். தைரியமா போ. ட்ரஸ்டபிள்ரா. 3 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி என்ன பார்த்துருக்கல, இப்போ நான் பார்க்குறல்ல. How confident I am because I have taken a right decision. நான் கொடுத்த அட்ரஸ் போய் விசிட் பண்ணு. You will have a personal care from them.
எல்லா பேஷண்ட்ஸுக்கும் பர்சனல் கேர் தராங்க. 30 years of proven medical records. All eye care treatment under one roof. அதான் ஆர்கே ஐ சென்டரோட ஸ்பெஷாலிட்டி.
My dear children of God, it's my pleasure to be with you all once again for this episode, How to Lead a Life that Would Be Pleasing to the Lord. I have been discussing on the part that wife is a gift from God. This is the 7th episode. The next episode I am going to discuss on how God can intervene in our professional life. God is a God who is so concerned about us and leads us in a way that He chooses for us, but we may not be knowing that. But as we have a fellowship with Him, slowly but steadily, He will reveal the plans that He has for us. I have been sharing in the first 6 episodes how so many alliances have come very close, but yet in the last minute it was all shelved. At that time I was feeling bad, but God had a better plan. I didn't know that at that time. Last week I was sharing on how I got into a private job after resigning my government job and could apply for MBA part-time and also get into part-time MBA. And this week I am going to share how that MBA also has helped me not only in professional life but also in my marriage life to fulfill the desires I had for my own life. If you want to see the earlier episodes, you can always visit YouTube Narendranath or website www.divinetruth.asia. In the last week, I shared how I joined a water treatment company at the middle level, even though I didn't have any experience on water treatment. But because of my project experience, my managing director took a risk and a chance and inserted me as a middle level manager. It was tough. And as I shared in the last week, God moved His heart to allow me to pursue my part-time MBA. So I was doing my part-time MBA at Madras University opposite Marina Beach from 6 to 9, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. 5 days a week I have to go and attend. And I attended without taking any leave from my office. All the tours I took without abandoning them. So it was tough, like learning water treatment, learning MBA, also going to outside tours even up to Delhi, Calcutta. So I used to carry my books and learn on the way, and God was with me. He helped me to grasp whatever it is, and as I promised my MD earlier, I didn't take any leave. Only for exams I took leave, and semester after semester I was clearing later. This week I am going to tell how MBA had helped me. Initially when I joined this organization private, I didn't want to apply for any matrimonial advertisements because I was busy learning my subjects. Later, once when I was getting settled down, got into MBA and could understand more about water treatment, again I started applying for matrimonial advertisements. This time, one doctor, postgraduate doctor, Rajanikanta, took notice of my advertisement doing MBA. At that time I didn't finish MBA. She and her father, was a professor at Indian Institute of Public Administration, IIP, one of the premier institutes at Delhi, Professor Tavaraj. They both noticed this advertisement and responded. And for so many years I was struggling to get married. So happened so swiftly. I joined this organization in the month of January 1981. I applied for MBA in March, April 1981. Got into MBA somewhere in June 1981. This correspondence for matching these alliances were happening for 2-3 months during October to November 1981, all within months. December we got engaged, December 1981, and in 1982, May, we got married. So swiftly, it is like a last minute check-in. So this is how God helps you. We don't realize all these years I was facing failures. This time God moved so fast, like how Joseph would have got his wife when he churned the advances of Potiphar's wife as a very small boy, and because of that he was put in the jail also. Later on, Pharaoh gives him one of the priest's daughter. So the best God saves for the last, like the wine at Cana, wedding at Cana. So that's what had happened. And because I could get married to an ophthalmologist, later on today, I could start my own industry under the name Flotham Engineers Private Limited. I will talk about when I started, what all jobs I did. Only a little I shared earlier. One of the major projects of almost a 10 crore project, in the year 1996 itself I could take and execute it for God's glory. It was a deep sea simulation. Very few people had done it earlier in the entire world. And I could also help my wife to set up a clinic which has grown up to a hospital now, RK Eye Center. In fact, you could see the advertisements in the beginning and at the end of this program. RK Eye Center, RK stands for Rajanikanta. She was working at Shankara Netralaya. So once when she showed interest to get married, she was prepared to even start a private practice here. Very bold. She was working as a lecturer at Lady Hardinge Medical College at Delhi, a central government job. God moved her heart and her parents' hearts so that she could resign and consider this alliance. She came down. Shankara Netralaya was starting their operations in the early 80s. God was kind enough to get her a consultant job there. So she was working as a consultant there. I was working as a general manager. I got promoted as a general manager within 5 years of my serving the private sector. There again God did a miracle. Within 5 years, though I just joined as a middle level manager and was struggling to learn both water treatment and management, God was kind because of the ability to book several orders for the company. Because I stretched out beyond water treatment, I started booking orders for my private organization in the form of tankages, industrial piping, firefighting, sponge projects, so many projects, a lot of defense projects, even for ISRO, liquid propulsion projects, Bharat Dynamics Limited, name it, I was doing it. And because of that, one fine day, managing director, by the time I finished my MBA also, I just joined the MBA in 81. I finished by 84. By 85, my MD promoted me as the general manager, straight from assistant manager to general manager. Like how Joseph might have come from prison to next to Pharaoh, I went from middle level to next to MD. It's all God's doing. I can never boast my ability in that. It is God who gave me the skill, and it is God who opened the doors. And finally, it is God who touched the heart of my MD. And because of my MD passed away in one of the tragic accidents, later on I decided to quit that organization after 12 years. I promised them 5 years after MBA, which means 8 years. But I stayed there for another 4 more years till my MD's son got settled down. And then I started Flotham Engineers in the year 1992 after 12 years. By 89 itself, I started my wife's clinic. I requested her to resign her job from Shankara Nethralaya. I will make you head and not the tail. Balakamal Tarayakuar, Kirakamal Melakuar. Yes, in Deuteronomy 28 chapter, verse 13, 14, we see that. So like that, God made us into head, and it's all because of what God did. Now, how God can choose a spouse for us, I will tell few of the Bible verses. He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. Proverbs 22. Wife is a gift from God. Only God can give us. And houses and wealth are inherited from parents, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Proverbs 19:14. The Lord will make you the head, not the tail. If you pay attention to the commands of the Lord your God, and I give you this day, and carefully follow them, you will always be at the top, never at the bottom. Deuteronomy 28:13. This is what had happened to me by the grace of God. He elevated me to the general manager level within 5 years of my joining that private organization, and later on to be on my own now. And same is the case with my wife. She left her secured government job, came here, joined Shankar Nethralaya, but because of my request, she resigned that job, started her own hospital, clinic to start with. Now it has turned out to be a hospital which we could hand it over to our son. So generation after generation, God can take over. Who then are those who fear the Lord? He will instruct them in the ways they should choose. Psalm 25:12. Here God says, if we fear the Lord, He will choose the way how we should go. My dear children of God, God has great ways of taking us forward. You could see, if only I had been stuck at government job, I couldn't have learnt so many things which propelled me to a higher level later. And at times God will allow apprehensions, difficulties, so that you are made to consider changing the job. Otherwise, we will be complacent, we will be stuck in the same place. That is what had happened to me at government job. When things were not happening the way in which I expected it to happen, I was getting disappointed. But my father used to tell me, government job is the best job, secure job, nobody can remove you from the job, don't consider private. But somehow I thought, in government your skills are not respected, valued, unlike private. In private, if you perform well, they will elevate you. That's what had happened to me. So I shifted to private, and in private also, once when you take the company forward into various other fields, they also recognize your talent and elevate you. That's how I got elevated from assistant manager to general manager. And above all, this MBA had, as I told you earlier, helped me in such a way that because of my MBA, I could get married to a postgraduate doctor. Otherwise, I couldn't have got married. That MBA, I could get it because I left my government job, shifted to Madras. And because God moved the heart of my MD, who signed that application form at the crucial and critical time, I could join the course part-time. And finally, when I finished MBA, that gave me a lot of prestige and recognition and respect. In those days, very few MBAs were there. I mean, colleges who could train you in MBA. So, we may not know the future. Only God knows the end from the beginning, as He says in Isaiah 46:10. I know the end from the beginning. We only know past and present, but God knows not only past and present, but also the future as though it is past. As we go on, we will know the future, but God is in control. So we must trust and obey. As long as we lead a life that is pleasing in His eyes, obedient in His requirements, God will make us head and not the tail. In our case, He has made me not only me as the head, but also my wife as the head of her own institution. My dear children of God, don't lose heart when you face difficulties. God will have a better plan and a master plan, and trust and obey and go forward. If you want to see other episodes, you can always go into YouTube Narendranath or website www.divine2.asia. Thank you.
Appointment வாங்கிட்டல?
வாங்கிட்டேன்க்கா.
Hey, why are you getting nervous? Last month பிரியா குட்டியோட அங்க தான் விசிட் பண்ணேனா. எக்கனாமிக்கல்டா. இன்சூரன்ஸ் கூட கிளைம் பண்ணிக்கலாம். Premature babiesல இருந்து old age people வரைக்கும் விசிட் பண்ற ஒரு இடம்.
எல்லா பேஷண்ட்ஸுக்கும் பர்சனல் கேர் தராங்க. 30 years of proven medical records. ஆர்கே ஐ சென்டர் டி நகரில் இருக்கிறதுனால accessible to all places.
Youngsters, you guys must take the right decision at the right time with the right people.